I'm Chris Perez, and this is Ratio 3 Gallery, located in the Mission District. The gallery is almost 5 years old. We work with a group of 12 artists, and I feel that the function of the gallery is not only to sell and display their works, but also try to contextualize their work within the international art discourse. We tend to show art that is more cutting edge, very kind of cool in temperature, has a sort of graphic, stark quality to it. I'm interested in ideas of color, pattern, shape. We show photography, video, sculpture, drawing, painting, installation works as what I'm standing in right now.
The show is titled A Moment for Reflection, new work by Lydia Fong, and this is Lydia Fong.
I was trying to do some new work during the last 6 months. Something that didn't look like my work, but obviously some of it seeped back in. So. And during that 6 months, I didn't have a huge amount of time, so I had to use some older work and some newer stuff. So the tire is older, the video is a little bit older. I'm really obsessed with those like high-to-spare tires that, I don't know, in San Francisco people just use those year-round, like as tires. I don't know, have you noticed that? And so I have a bunch of these, and this one, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I wanted it white, I knew that, and then it kind of just sat in the backyard and was like holding up this work table thing, and then that's one of my favorite pieces in here. I don't know. I didn't know how it was going to fit in, or it was sitting up there, just resting up there because there was no place for it, and that's where it just stayed. That's specifically Lydia Fong work. I needed to become another person to make that, or be in a different persona to make that. I guess a lot of people that have grown up that did graffiti younger and like know the situation where you're like hiding in something, trying to finish your graffiti. So, like you've been spotted or something, but you're still in the like you have to finish what you're doing. Like you'll do anything to finish it, and so that's. But I've done this many times on freeways where you're just like that tree, like that moving tree, like with the arm that sticks out, trying to hide, trying to pretend like you're invisible. Trying to get invisible, I guess that's what they say there. So that's what that is. This is just the exercycle bike thing that I wanted it bigger, but that's how it came out. I thought I had enough to cover a whole wall, and then just like the little cardboard image like somewhere in there, but it just came out that way for now. But in my head, when they're sitting around the studio, that's how they, in piles, and then I'll catch a glimpse of how that can work next to each other and try to remember where it goes, but it never. But I think it's some type of sorting of these different images that I see at certain points and whatnot. A long time ago when I first started doing it, I used to think that you'd have to take bad stuff with like the better stuff, just like everything. Like if you're walking down the street, you could like there's a beautiful scene of someone hugging, but then there's just like another person in art. You have to take like these things together. I feel like San Francisco in particular is a lot like that. It's just like there's these amazing things going on, these terrible things going on. Like most things that I make that I think that become art, I think the paper can get dirty and it doesn't matter, but these I get like kind of like if there's a smudge on it, I'm just like, whoa, I gotta erase that. Or no, actually, no, I don't care that much, but I just like I know where these are at all the time. Like if they're in my car, I know if they're near water, or if they're I know if my daughter will spill food on it. I know like that type of thing. Like so I treat that like art. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I carry these things around, but I feel them in my backpack. Like if I have my backpack and I'm carrying these, I'm just like, okay, what else is in my backpack and what's going to smear this? I don't know why. It's just like, I think I need those to be just slightly, but I don't care about the glass. The glass and everything's super dirty. I get the glass from like other frames, and that part I like, but I try to keep the paper somewhat clean on them for some reason. Is that art? It seems like art to me that way. I treat them kind of preciously. I don't know why. I treat everything else like just garbage. It really is just like, they sit in, everything else that's in piles and gets scraped and messed up. But these, I'm just like, oh. And I had an idea about it. Like I thought this show was just going to be like, just like hung like a traditional art show, like one piece. Like I thought that was my break. I thought Lydia Fong was a breakaway where I'm just like one art piece, like hung at that 54 inches and like level and everything. But it didn't happen again. I don't know why. It's just, I rely on like clusterings and like these things that are they need something else next to them to function better. So I really thought that was just like a straight. I had them laid out in my studio and whatnot, but it's in the next 5 years maybe. I don't know why I'm like obsessed with like the traditional gallery show. I'm just trying to. I want to try to see if I could do one of those shows and see if it can work, without like having to rely on another piece or another artwork to like, kind of push it through.
I'm Griff Williams. I'm the owner of Gallery 16 in San Francisco. We're located at 501 3rd Street at the corner of 3rd and Bryant. This is the 15-year anniversary exhibition for Gallery 16 called These Are the People in Your Neighborhood. We asked about 60 artists that have worked with us over the years to submit something for the anniversary exhibition, and this is the collection. I was very interested in starting Gallery 16 to connect to the greater arts community and show work that I felt like was not being seen in San Francisco at the time. Gallery 16 differs a bit from the typical commercial spaces in San Francisco and elsewhere in that we have a publishing arm of the gallery called Gallery 16 Editions. The editions are in the form of prints, multiples, artist books, portfolios, and a very wide range of disciplines and artistic mediums within the publishing program. The publishing program was really a way of creating a body of work by really interesting and sometimes very important contemporary artists in a price point that people can afford. Well, there's an interesting community of artists in San Francisco. This has always been a very rich place for the visual arts, and we've been lucky enough to work with folks at various stages in their career. Some artists that we gave their first exhibitions to have gone on to do really amazing things and have stayed in the Bay Area, and so it's we're lucky that way to be able to be in such a rich community of visual artists. There's a work in the show by an artist named Michelle Grabner. Michelle's been somebody who's been inspirational to me personally and inspirational artist in the stable at Gallery 16. Her work is fantastic. It becomes more interesting all the time. She's been working in this form of abstraction that I think is quite remarkable, and we've really allowed this place to be, for better or worse, a place where artists can fail. We give them the opportunity to show bodies of work that aren't curated in the traditional curatorial sense. There's a sort of a safety net that we take away. We allow artists to come in and do whatever it is that they're interested in doing in the space. I didn't think when we opened the gallery that we would be around for 6 months, let alone 15 years. So I have a hard time predicting the future. I know that what we've done has been an important part of the Bay Area's artistic and creative scene, and we try to make it as hospitable an environment, a sort of engaging place to come and look at work, hear live music, hear poetry readings, and we try to bring all these things together in a place that's exciting and non-threatening.
My name is Rex Ray, and I'm a painter here in San Francisco. I'm here at Gallery 16. My first show here was probably in about 1994, and I've been a regular guest and artist here at Gallery 16 for the past 15 years. Actually, I started doing graphic design about 25 years ago and had a thriving freelance graphic design business, and eventually became fed up and completely disgusted with sitting at a computer all day long. So I took all the things that I liked about graphic design, the layering, the hard edge, the bright colors, and all of my favorite things about computer technology and computer design, and incorporated them into an extremely handmade, handcrafted process that I've turned into this sort of collage work, which is primarily painting, block printing, doing all sorts of print methods on papers, and then cutting them up and laying them out on canvases and gluing them down into these beauties. I think there's a real diverse range of artists here, and what I really like about being in this company is the variety and the diversity of the work. Especially seeing an exhibit like this 15-year sort of retrospective, it really reminds me that, you know, I'm in really great company, and there's some really amazing work here, and especially because I've shared this gallery with a lot of these people for 15 years now. It's great to see, you know, so many of us have gone on to have really great careers when we were just, you know, showing at this little space over on 16th Street, and now we're on glamorous 3rd Street. In terms of trying to select somebody whose work resonates with mine, that's a little difficult because, you know, it is so diverse, and I am so completely unique. But, you know, Deborah Orapollo, I love her work. She does a lot of digital stuff, which I really appreciate. I like people using digital technology as just another artistic tool. I think that's very important. There are straight-up painters here, like Cliff Hangst, who I adore. His work is fabulous. And Griff Williams, you know, I feel a really close affinity to his work in the colors and the sensibility. It's great company to be in.